Okay, hi everybody, it's me, Bonka922. Another episode of Kaiju number 8. Honestly, this episode gets a 10 out of 10. I'm dead serious. This was ridiculous. Well, I should say the first half. Like, the first half is because he just turned. What basically happened from last week is this bug thing. This bug kaiju says, I found you, goes into his mouth, and he turns into a kaiju. Which, it's not really. See, the clarification of kaiju is it's a giant monster. But he's not giant. But still, they classify him as a kaiju. So basically, what ends on happening is this old dude, this old man just calls the defense force. This was happened last week. But I got to admit, I got to comment on the opening song and opening visuals and the closing. Freaking fantastic! The opening has a song. It's in English, and the ending does too. But really, the opening, I really enjoyed the opening theme. How it was done, very futuristically 3D-ish in a way, but really good. So where we left off with the old man calling the defense force, and Kafka realizes he's transformed to this kaiju. How strong he is! Like he just puts his hand on a wall and it like crumbles. Like, oh shit! But what ends on happening is they escape. Him and Reno, they get the hell out of it because like you're gonna come after them because they just told the defense force this is a kaiju. So originally they attempt to go after him. We get some flashbacks of Reno of Kafka and his childhood friend Mina, and it's not really a lot of flashbacks. Just a few here and there about when he said to not worry about things and that he'd always be with her. And there, what's funny about it is that he's running. He's like he jumps out of the hospital. He's like it's insane. But when they're running away, out of nowhere, out of nowhere, Kafka transforms weirdly, and there are these tentacles coming out of him and these heads, and it's disgusting. He used the tongue to go after this bird and starts eating it. I was like, oh my god, this show is too much. But anyway, eventually they stop, and he's like, he starts peeing. I was like, what's going on here? He has to pee, so he pees. I'm dying. He's peeing from his nipples. I was like, oh my god. Okay, after that whole thing, we find out he notices he's like really good perception of the other kaiju that shows up, which is the one that he was fighting in the last episode. That didn't really kill him. So it shows up, and Kafka decides to go fight it. A little girl's there, and her mother, and they're about to be eaten. He defeats it, and she's scared of him, understandably. But she does says thank you to him for saving them. You know, but that fight was ridiculous. He punches it one time, it comes back. He hits it so hard, it just explodes. It just freaking explodes. I don't know what the story with his kaiju powers because it seems like he's got lightning coming out of him. I don't know what that means, but he's got lightning coming out of him. So he destroys it in one hit. And, he leaves. And when the defense force does show up, Mina talks to the girl, and she tells Mina, don't kill the good kaiju. And saying that the kaiju, there was a good kaiju that saved her mom. And she's shocked by this. She doesn't know what she's talking about. So from there, we go into the next day. and everyone's talking about this kaiju that escaped and that the Defense Force didn't defeat and all this stuff. And they get the results. Reno gets and Kafka gets the results of the first round with the Defense Force, and they pass. Basically, both of them pass, and they're ready to do the next step. They run into they go to the place where they're going to take the test, but they run into this girl who is like calls Kafka an old man. Oh, he's 32, but he's old apparently. Whatever. Anyway, she has on a suit that makes her super strong. So she freaking picks up his car, van, and pulls it somewhere because she wants to park in the 55 spot. But she smells him and asks him why he smells like a kaiju. So that's where more or less the episode ends. So basically, the first half was a huge battle. Second half was basically finding out that he passed the first round of the exams, and now he's going into the second round. And usually the second round is when he doesn't pass Kafka. So we get introduced to a bunch of other people that we don't know their names. This pink-haired guy, this guy with greenish hair. We see them. And we just leave it on that note. Now, the intro, outro, scenes you see here and there, it's pretty obvious that they're going to make the team. Now, what's not obvious is how he's going to fight when he can turn into a kaiju. It's going to be weird. Very strange how it's going to go down. But overall, that's probably what's going to go down based on what I'm seeing. But this was a good episode. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10 because it was funny. The fighting was awesome. It really established a lot of things. So yeah. So where we're going with this anime, I'm really digging it. It's kaiju. You know, it's pretty awesome. What I find interesting though about this show is how we're having. You know what it reminds me a lot of, which I don't know if anybody wants to make this reference. It reminds me a lot of Godzilla Final Wars. I think I've said this last week. It feels like that, but not exactly. Because in that movie, a lot of the people who fought the kaijus were mutants. They were superpowered beings who can fight the kaijus and destroy them. I think this is the same thing, but they're not mutants. They just have really high-powered weaponry to kill the kaijus. So that's why they can defeat them. But, you know, I just find it weird that they don't use, like, giant robots to fight the kaijus. But, hey, it's a different kind of show. I can understand that. But this is going to be interesting. I like the comedy in it. I like the action in it. It's pretty damn good. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10 because the action was pretty good and the comedy was really on point. It was really on point. That was funny. Oh my god. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Bankai 922. I'll try to get through a lot of the animes from last season. I still haven't gone through that I do anime series review for. I'll see if I can try to knock those in during the week, hopefully. It's hard. I've been playing a lot of games. You know, Helldivers. But anyway, this is Bankai 922. See you guys later. Kaiju who defeats Kaiju with one punch. Shouldn't we be calling One Punch Man? I don't know. I'll see you guys later. Peace.